So, Michael, what is the one thing that truly maximises the value of someone's home when they go to sell their property?
For me, it's got to be marketing, professional marketing, photography, videography to a greater or lesser extent, but definitely professional photography. We've seen it time and time again. In fact, we've done a sale in the past 4 weeks. 4 weeks, yeah. 4 weeks, where we didn't change the price. We didn't really change the exposure. We literally just marketed it better. It'd been on the market on and off for about 2 years, and we sold it within, I think, about a week.
Wow.
So that's the impact it can have, I think.
And what does that, are you saying that impact, and tell me if I'm wrong, but are you saying that, I'll give you an example, give you a very quick example. Yep. There's a lady that's been on since God was a boy, right? Now, she wants 700 grand for her house. And it's like, okay, she paid more for it last year.
Yeah.
But wants a minimum 700. And there are 2 sets of pictures. There is the pictures when she bought it, and there is the pictures that the agent has taken now. Yeah. Basically, the pictures that the agent has now are shockingly bad.
Yeah.
And the pictures when she bought it, bear in mind she paid over 700 grand for the house. She can now not, for love nor money, sell it for 700 grand. The best offer she's got is 650.
Okay.
And I'm like, honestly, how many more times do you need me to hear you say what you've just, good for me, you've just endorsed? Because I was like, man, your marketing of your home is not inspiring anybody to want to come and purchase it, not even come and view it. Yeah, the pictures are terrible. Like, is that what you mean?
I do, and it doesn't matter what the value is either. I think it's important I should state the value. The value on that unit was 290. So we're not talking about 700, although I believe for us, we deal with a lot of the more expensive stuff, but we do a bit of everything really. But it can happen at any level, but it's critical. There's another one I just thought about then, which was maybe 6 months prior, the lady had sold it for, I think, maybe 250-ish, something like that. And that fell through for one reason or another. Again, we didn't change the price. Which, let me think. What do we do? Yeah, no, we changed the pricing strategy. We did. So that was listed, I think, before at 260. She sold it about 250. We listed it offers over 250. Improved the marketing. We sold it for 258.5.
Wow.
So it can have that impact of marketing. And with reference to the lady you've mentioned, I would say the reason why she can't get back outside market conditions and all that stuff, obviously, all things being equal, the reason she can't get her money back is no one's bought into that house, that lifestyle, that family element, or whatever it is, as much as she has. That's why she can't get the price that she would like, albeit, or any price, any relatively decent price or interest. That the market will be critical to that for sure, 100%.
Yeah, because I think, I don't know, you may share the same view as me, right? But for me, I definitely agree, absolutely. And it used to be the same back in sort of central West London, 2006, 2007. Agents were taking pictures with their Kodaks. Yeah, do you know what I mean? And it was just like, wow. The same house marketed with a professional photographer, as far as we was concerned, was half the battle. And the reason we were saying it was half the battle, and those houses that do have pro photography, is because when someone, in my opinion, a buyer walks into a home, they fall in love with it. They then go to work Monday morning full of excitement to tell their colleagues who would listen, to tell their friends after work, terry down the pub, and then they want to show the bank of mum and dad, and they all see a set of property details where the pictures are shite. There is no proper, not just the pictures, description's bad, there's no floor plan. No one, their friends are not buying into it, which then means Johnny and little Sally that fell in love with this home and now have had the rug pulled from underneath their feet because none of their friends or their colleagues or their mum and dad are getting just as excited about that house. Is that fair to say too?
Well, yeah, it is. But also I think there's a when you've been to view a house that you've offered on and the marketing's tip top, there's an element of pride in it from you as a buyer to, like you say, to show everybody else. And when you show other people stuff like that, like you're buying, like you say, when it's iPhone pictures or whatever you want to say, it's quite easy for other people to then pick holes in it and then take that, steal the joy almost from the two kind of buyers. So I to me it goes deeper than just being like the marketing piece. It starts with that's negotiation from the very get go. Buy the pictures, by getting that person into the lifestyle. There's a few things where I perhaps think a little bit differently. So obviously the old adage is depersonalize your house, entirely, and all this other stuff. Don't get me wrong, if you've got 70 pictures of your family going up the stairs, then you're probably going to need to do something about that. But if you've got a few pictures of family dotted round and about, and you've got a family home, I think that's quite good because that translates to Susan and Thomas with little baby Robert.
Mm-hmm.
They can see them. They look at that picture and then start visualizing themselves in that house, doing whatever the picture shows. And I think those kind of elements, even in the professional photography, helps endorse that even more and more and more. So yeah, for me, it's an absolute. I used to get hammered where I worked before I had my own business. You used to get hammered by the director for spending the money on professional photography because you couldn't see the benefit. But it did benefit the business hugely, absolutely. And one of the things I think that we are known for is the quality of the listings that we produce. So what does that lead to? Well, obviously the main thing for everybody, the clients, it leads to sale. But from a more selfish perspective, it leads to self-generation of business. It's one thing that I hear quite a lot. Oh yeah, the reason why we contacted you is because of the quality of your marketing. So I think it's a win-win. The main win, obviously, is the seller gets to sell and gets a good price, but equally, we invest in that because we want to produce something that's high quality. And well, we wanted to set the bar, certainly what the location we are here in Preston and the surrounding areas. We wanted to set that bar really, really high. And whilst I wouldn't for 1 second want to suggest that I've changed the industry here single-handedly, a lot of people have started to follow suit because it's a more widely acceptable practice within the industry. So I'm all for raising standards as well. Something I keep hammering my team with, which I'm sure they're getting sick of me hearing, is if we're not raising the bar, then we're doing something wrong. And I think that's one of the other reasons why we started the business. So yeah, market is absolutely huge on loads of levels.
Yeah, and I would say it's not, like you said, it's not just for you. Also making sure that seller gets a really good price for their home, gets taken on a journey, is able to have professional agents that get them to exchanging contracts. But as you mentioned, the selfish element of it too is actually investing that money in your seller's home. What an opportunity to be given an instruction and to be able to make sure it's professionally photographed. So everyone is inspired. Everybody's inspired. The seller feels really good about the way that their property is presented and being represented by you. You then feel really good because you're like, well, you're doing it the right way, the way it should be done. But also for that, however much it costs you guys to do that marketing. Today's seller, they may be selling somewhere else in a location that you may not necessarily be operating in, but that buyer, who's that buyer going to sell through? Yeah, they're going to be selling through you, because the fact is that you're, like you said, you're raising the bar, which is, I love it. I absolutely love it. And I would, my, forgive me for saying this, mate, but every single agent should be offering professional photography as a minimum, as an absolute minimum. And if they're not doing it, there needs to be some serious questions as to why, because if they're saying they don't need to, well, they better be David Bailey. I don't know if you remember who he is, photographer, but you definitely have to be, well, Michael, maybe a relative.
Not relative, but I know he is, yeah.
Yeah. So, but in terms of, let's say now I don't know what the market is like where you are right now, whether it's still really buoyant, but I would also say, as opposed to running the risk of whether the market's really buoyant or if the market starts to tail off, For market tail offs especially, pro photography is a must, is an
Well, as we know,
absolute must.
so here now, there's 40% more listings available at any one time than there was versus last year. Now, last year's obviously a bit of an odd time, but we'll use the stat, which means that, yeah, you are in more competitions. How do you attract those buyers through your door? Well, yeah, one big element is, don't get me wrong, there's three elements: price, presentation, promotion. Um, but the presentation side of it is really, really important. And if you're going up against exactly the same house, exactly the same price, same development, say it's been built 5, 10 years ago, you need to do something to give yourself a bit of an edge.
Yeah.
And many agents don't necessarily want to invest, certainly at the lower values, in the professional photography. But I just, yeah, it just pays dividends in the end. Well, and the other thing you said, you're picking up about sort of what it does to the client and how they feel about it, how they feel there's a positive experience. But the team get giddy and excited about the listings too, which I think is really, really important, rather than, oh, what's this you're sticking on the market? You know what I mean? They get giddy about it, which in the end I do believe inspires a better outcome for the seller as well.
Oh, yeah, totally. Because suddenly, and this is it, everyone has an element of feeling like significance and also feeling like they're able to contribute to something that's bigger than themselves. And so now if you've got those, so you come back, you've got that property on the market, your guys working with you, they feel good about, well, look at what we have.
Yeah.
No one wants cheap. People want bargains, but no one wants cheap. And so imagine now they're looking at just that home. And I think I would imagine the same too. You would stop when someone's on Rightmove, a buyer's on Rightmove or a buyer's on Zoopla, whatever portals you use. You would almost stop them scrolling. If the pictures, imagine you're a seller and you've put a load of love, heart, work, extensions. You've gone to town on your garden and the pictures are rubbish. That buyer ain't. They may click on it, but they're going, wow, that seller doesn't even look like they're invested in their own property. Yeah, you're going to have to really drag me out to come and see that.
Yeah, or even if you get them in, when you come then to the negotiation part, it becomes that much more difficult because they haven't already got that emotional investment or connection, or so you're almost like starting from a bit of a base up. Whereas with the right marketing, as I said, that builds that platform from before the viewing. So what you'll find is people will be, oh, I like this, I'm going to go and see this. At that point, they're already sending it to Dave down the pub and Susan in the office and this, that, and the other. So that, yeah, for me, it definitely is an important negotiation point as well.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Now you mentioned, you said, what did you say? The 3 Ps: price, presentation, and promotion.
Yeah, and it's, to be honest, I've added in another one, my own.
Go on.
I do think now, person or the people, that's critical now. Who is it that's representing this property? What are they like? How are they remunerated? I think is an important one.
Yeah.
What's their appetite to sell off the back of that? Do they care about you as a person, or are you just a number?
Yeah.
And there's obviously good people everywhere. There are brilliant agents up and down the country.
Yeah.
But equally, some through no fault of their own aren't brilliant.
Yeah.
Through lack of investment in training and everything else like that, and it's just bums on seats kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it depends what kind of person the seller wants. That's why the person or people bit starts to become important, especially in a more normal market where you need a bit more than just the other three. Like you need someone that knows how to sell. I think there's a lot of opportunity there if you're actively trying to do stuff as opposed to just. Spoke to a couple of agents yesterday, and I know it's the 15th today, but for me, we've got a few working days left till next Friday.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of guys that want to move out there, but a lot of people now that I said I spoke to the last few days, they're kind of more interested in mince pies and sherry. Maybe my view is wrong. I don't know. Their view is right. My point being, they're not pushing to get their clients moved desperately that want to move because. Well, for various reasons, but that's the sense I get from some people, and then you've got other people like me who I just spoke to a client just before, desperate to move. He's been through 2 agents before us, had a terrible time, just wants to get his boxes packed and get moving.
Yeah.
That person element is really important. I think a lot of it probably does come down to empathy.
Yeah.
Do you understand this person and what they need from you as the agent?
Yeah. Look, again, I am totally with you on that. It's interesting because, do you know what? Property does not float my boat one bit. Doesn't. Honestly, it really doesn't. Now, don't get me wrong. I am absolutely on board with pro photography, and I'll be screaming as a minimum pro photography. If a seller was trying to tell me, don't worry about the pictures, I'll be like, no, I'm going to get pro photography done. You don't have a choice. Otherwise, I'm not selling a house. It's simple, right? That's how much I believe in it. But again, it's for me, I care more about the individual and their journey and what they're trying to achieve, and then put them on a bus or a coach, and then basically coach them to the next chapter in their life on how to best not just get the right amount of money that they deserve or more, but also take them on a journey that I know I can actually get them completed as well. Because it's like, if that means me sorting shit out on a Sunday night when my own household is going massively wrong and I'm getting phone calls from here, there and everywhere because other things are happening, I just won't sit there and go, sorry, we'll wait until tomorrow. No, we get it done now. We get it done now. So that's people, right? So having the right attitude in terms of what are their motivations.
Yeah.
But then your price, your presentation and promotion, can you run the guys through that as well?
Yeah, so obviously price is pricing strategy. What are we doing? Are we just doing like an arbitrary number here, or is there a plan behind it? Have we got a fallback position? Because we're in a bit more of a changeable market now, we are certainly making people aware of a sort of a plan A, plan B approach. This is what we're going to try. This is more around if a seller is not comfortable immediately with what I've said. We're now saying fine, but contractually within the terms and conditions and the agency agreement, after X amount of time, this is the next step, to make sure that we're all clear on where we're going to go. And as we both know, valuing as such isn't an exact science. I'm more about finding a strategy to get this guy or girl or couple the best amount of money I can. Obviously not doing 289, 950 where possible. Follow the pricing bands on all the websites. Just have a bit of a methodology behind price. Presentation is, pro photography, which we've covered to death really a little bit. Floor plans. Honestly, the amount of properties I see without a floor plan, just ludicrous, absolutely ludicrous. For 20 quid, we know what the stats are from the website. So you're cutting a massive amount of people out. Then we've got obviously the written word. What's the description like? ABC estate agent is delighted to present this wonderful 3-bed. Like, no one cares about that. Try and find out the features and benefits of the property, and then lead that into your most likely buyer. Kitchen, family room. Talk about that. How's the family going to use that space? You not necessarily using emotional language, but again, attempting to get people into seeing themselves in the place. And then promotion. What's the advert doing? Is it just right move? Is it static? Is it changing? Is the old kind of really basic stuff? Are the pictures being changed? Is it going out on socials? Something that we're trying to do really, really a lot, which is about a little bit falling on deaf ears currently, is try and work with other agents. Say you're in our town, I've got a listing, I've not got masses of interest. John, who have you got? And work collaboratively. I'll cut you in a referral fee, no problem at all. You just bring me a buyer. I don't care how we do it, because that to me is the best thing to do for the client. It's not about me; it's about the client. But yeah, as I said, that's fallen a little bit on deaf ears currently, which is pretty ludicrous because I'm sure I'll have buyers to their stock as well.
Short-sighted, absolutely short-sighted, and in the game for the wrong reasons. Everything you just said then, you're not proud enough to go, well, I don't have a buyer, so I'm going to allow my seller's property to languish on the market. You're like, fuck, right, how do we need to get this sorted? What sort of responsibility do I need to take in order to make sure that I still get my seller moved? And the difference is with you, Michael, mate, is that's elite level agency, and that is realizing and understanding you are not the only agent that exists. There are other agents that are out there. And when they've got agents that are really secular and it's all me, fuck off. Stop it. Just work collaboratively. If a Michael has called you and said, I've got a property, are you interested? Yes, I am. What do you need? How can I help you? Because guess what? You may come back to me and offer me another commission on another property or 5 over the next 4 years.
Again, as well, maybe it's because my mindset's a little bit different. Obviously having like grown up, and I am from London originally. There's a lot of split commissions that go on in London, all the time, mainly on lettings from my experience. But that happens a bit more. Whereas perhaps outside the bigger cities, like you said, it's a little bit more protectionist of protecting the fee. But I guess that that explains really what we did with the business when we launched it. I kind of worked somewhere like that, which was about fees, comms, what we're making, what profit we're doing, blah, 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 which made the client suffer in the end, really. Whereas we just reverse engineered that. It's really simple. How do we help this client? And then the back end bit comes after that anyway. It's not to say I don't have goals and measurement. No, I obviously do, but our focus is always on how can I help John get to the next place in the best financial shape possible.
But do you know what, though? I always say money follows success. So if you're successful for the person that's handed you a set of keys, who's trusted you enough to market their home, to take them on the journey to get their house sold, then yeah, money follows success. And that is it. And by the way, what I mean by that is that doesn't always mean you say yes.
Yeah.
Because there can be situations where it's not right for you as an agent to actually agree to sell someone's home. It may be that some of those properties you've just mentioned there, the ones that 2 of them have been on with other agents, it may be that you got called in first time round to value those properties, to take them through a marketing plan, your methodology, your strategy, the reasons why you do something. Here are the stats. Here's what's really working. Here's the pounds per square footage of everything that's selling currently similar to yours. But yet they weren't ready for you at that stage. But you've left your door well open to be able to say, come back to me. If it doesn't quite work, come back to me. It's absolutely fine. And that is fantastic agency, because you're not just taking stuff on because you've got somebody that must tell you must hit this KPI. And if you don't, you're going to be speaking with a regional manager on Monday morning. Do you know what I mean?
Well, one of the ones I'm talking about specifically was, between 125 and 150 grand overpriced.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, obviously, I put this on a thread on Facebook the other day, and you commented on it. Why did I lose that the first time? I didn't make a compelling enough case for what I was saying, which is like, listen, that's on me, not on anyone else. And then on the other one, that's one that we've. I was going to say aggressive. We haven't aggressively chased, but I've been in frequent old school contact with those people. They've never rung. I've never spoke to them, but I've consistently put stuff through their door. Why? Because I knew I'd sell. I knew we could sell it, no problem. Got a really good presence in that area. And even then, once I did go around for an appointment, even then it took a little while.
Yeah.
But I wasn't, giving it all the old, I can bring 5 buyers around tomorrow. And I was just seeing, like, are you ready? Are you ready yet for me to sell the house?
Yeah.
And more than that, I'm delighted for them. We've got it sold. Like, amazing. Imagine they've been on the market for nearly 2 years. I love doing stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, you see. And who are the agents that not have the courage or the guts actually to have that conversation with them to say, guys, we are not following a process here. We're not following a methodology that we know is successful. That, I think, is mad. Good for you and good for your sellers. But one of the things I think is also very important that maybe your sellers need to hear is that trust is a massive, massive, massive thing. And because we are in a negative reputation industry where we are disliked before we say a word and distrusted before we end up saying, walking through someone's front door, right? Now, imagine that your buyers, your qualification process of those buyers, your rapport building with those buyers, your understanding about what they are truly trying to achieve, your knowledge on the stuff that they've told you that they wouldn't tell any other agent, that plays a huge part in a buyer making an offer because they absolutely trust you. And that's, I think that not just your skill set, professionalism, etc. of the business elite level agency, but I think because of that elite level agency and how you conduct yourself and how you work with people from a empathetic perspective is then getting them to trust you. So when you're asking them to do a certain thing, those buyers are likely to say yes because it's the right thing to do. It's just that they needed somebody that they're able to trust. So I think that is that's just as huge of all the other ingredients that you've just mentioned: price, presentation, promotion, people. Would that be fair?
Yeah. And again, that goes back to I don't know why I think of this particular example. I sold a 2-bed masonette in Surrey Keys. I don't know where, like a long time ago, but it's one I remember specifically because I went and valued it. I knew who the buyers for it would be. There was a number of them, and within 45 minutes, I think, I'd arranged a block viewing for the evening. No advertising, no nothing. Although obviously presentation is important. That was a particular client seller who needed to do something quickly, not cheaply, but quickly. And by knowing those people and building that rapport with them, I didn't really need to do anything. They trusted me enough to say, guys, this is the one for you. You should come and view it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's more and more prevalent now in a market like this. You need to, as you're saying, have that rapport because you're not getting inundated with viewings. But although it was great last year, you don't need to be inundated with viewings either. If you know that person and you know the property, it's easy to match people across.
Yeah, completely agree. Totally agree. Right. Michael Bailey, mate, you've been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on this podcast. Really, really, really appreciate you, mate. And sorry I didn't press record last time. And I'm glad I finally got you.
My pleasure. Yeah, it's been good. And hopefully it's useful to some people.